Hey everyone, Matt Montata here, and welcome to my video of my top 10 best movies of 2018. Now, 2018 was a very hit or miss year for film, but I'd say it was a pretty above average year for film, I'd say. And I have this piece of paper with me today that has my list of what I think the 10 best films of the year are. And there's a couple of things I want to disclose is that if there's a film that you've seen that you don't see on this list, chances are that I haven't seen it yet. And if there's a film here that you find overrated or overappreciated, I totally respect your opinion. I just ask you to respect mine. And one more thing, excuse me, one more thing before we get going. I have 5 honorable mentions. A list of films that were incredible, but excuse me, but were not able to make it onto the list. So my 5 honorable mentions are 8th Grade, First Man, Widows, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Alpha. Those 5 films are still incredible films, just barely missed the top 10. Alright, let's get on with the list. My number 10 is my second favorite animated film of the year, and that is Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs is another home run for Wes Anderson, who's directed great films such as Grand Budapest Hotel, Royal Tenenbaums, Moonrise Kingdom, which is actually my favorite of his, and Rushmore, just to name a few. Isle of Dogs, I would say, is probably my second favorite out of all the ones he's done. But yeah, overall, Isle of Dogs I've found to be a very well animated, very well acted, and probably the most political that Wes Anderson has ever gone with his movies. And it features a lot of funny scenes as well. So yeah, Isle of Dogs, number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have Black Panther. This film probably ranks among my top 3 best films in the entire MCU, with Black Panther being 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 being number 2, and my number 1, sorry. My number 1 MCU film we'll talk about later, but Black Panther is not only one of the most thematically mature films in the entire MCU, but it features a lot of the great pros that you could see in a Marvel film. Great action, great characters, and great visuals. But not just that, but how its story is told and how the villain is crafted was perfectly executed. And the villain in this film, played phenomenally by Michael B. Jordan, by the way, is a villain who's unlike any other villain that I've seen in the MCU. But yeah, overall, Black Panther is another home run for the MCU, and it comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, we have Searching. This is probably one of the most unique thriller films I've ever seen. It manages to take the found footage genre and have a plot that is featured within this genre and portray it in such a fresh, unique, creative way. It is a thrill ride from beginning to end, and the screenplay manages to throw in so many unexpected twists and turns throughout the film. and it features a powerhouse performance from John Cho as the father. So yeah, Searching is definitely one of the best thriller films of the year, and that is number 8. Coming in... Anyways. Coming in at number 7, we got A Quiet Place. Remember when I said Searching was a thrill ride from beginning to end? I could safely say that A Quiet Place definitely holds the title as the most intense film of the year, because the amount of suspense that was created throughout the film and how it establishes its setting, mood, tone, and characters without any dialogue, that is unbelievable to me. The cast is top notch. The use of sound is absolutely smart. And it has a ton of scary scenes that'll be planted in your mind for hours and hours, maybe even years. But yeah, A Quiet Place, definitely one of the best horror films to come out in this generation, and it comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is a film that not many people might not have on their list, and I totally respect that. But for me, I love this film, and that is Mary Poppins Returns. Mary Poppins Returns is a very worthy sequel to the original, which I thought was great as well. But Mary Poppins Returns, excuse me, is definitely a great sequel. The cast does a great job, specifically Emily Blunt, which this actually has been a good year for her. Between this and A Quiet Place, this is probably the best year she's ever had in a while. And she manages to embody every single characteristic of this character while still managing to make the character her own. And it's not just the performances that were great. The music and songs were absolutely incredible. The visuals, the cinematography, everything about this film manages to scream classic Disney filmmaking while still managing to be its own thing. But yeah, Mary Poppins Returns, number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is my favorite animated film of the year. Now, with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the animation is absolutely stunning and is unlike any type of animation that I've seen in an animated film. But it's not just that, and not just because the characters, the voice acting, and the humor and action were absolutely spectacular, because they are. But everything from a storytelling and screenplay perspective is perfection. And it manages to make so many bold moves in storytelling that you wouldn't expect in a film like this. But yeah, overall, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was a great animated film, the best animated film of the year, and comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Mission Impossible Fallout, which I have the Blu-ray of right here. But Mission Impossible Fallout is easily the best action film of the year and is one of the best action films to come out in this generation. Everything from the stunts, the action, the performances, the directing, the screenplay, and even the story are very well crafted and are absolute perfection. But what was so amazing to me about this film is how this series in particular evolved from a very cheesy, very not aged well 90s action film, and then it moves on to a film like this that is so well crafted in every aspect. That is unbelievable to me. And who knows? Maybe I might rewatch it tonight, since I just pulled this movie out. But yeah. Overall, Mission Impossible Fallout number 4. Excuse me. Coming in at number 3 is Avengers Infinity War. The best superhero film of the year, and is actually my favorite MCU film at the moment. But what made this film such a huge hit, especially to me, is because we, as MCU fans, we never really knew how this film would turn out. 10 years of build-up to... excuse me. 10 years of build-up towards one of the biggest cinematic events in a while. And overall, the payoff was definitely well worth it. The action is spectacular. The interactions between the characters was absolutely incredible. The comedy, the directing, the script, the visual effects, everything about this film is phenomenal and is absolutely epic. And the ending is definitely one of the most shocking things that I saw in a theater this year. But yeah, overall, Avengers Infinity War comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, we actually have a documentary for once, and a very great one at that. And that is Won't You Be My Neighbor? Won't You Be My Neighbor is a very heartfelt tribute to Fred Rogers, and it is also one of the most emotional films that I sat through the entire year. This was easily a very emotional experience for me, not just because of how heartfelt this tribute to Fred Rogers was, but also because it's a very heartwarming and very inspiring film. It's definitely one of those films that truly feels as if your soul is actually being warmed by the film. And seeing how Mr. Rogers was a man filled with happiness and joy, and was always kind to everyone he sees and knows. I found this to be a very respectful, heartwarming, emotional documentary that also serves as a great tribute to a beloved soul. So yeah, Won't You Be My Neighbor comes in at number 2. And now, my number 1 favorite movie of 2018, it would have to be A Star Is Born. Now, with A Star Is Born, a lot of people were worried because this was like what, the third or fourth remake of a beloved classic, and it honestly could have gone either way. It could have went to be a very like typical standard romance film, but because of the smart choice Hollywood made with having Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga star together, and actually having Cooper direct as well. This is his directorial debut, by the way. Cooper was able to craft something very special and very well done, but also something very emotionally raw and very meaningful. You can tell that he puts every ounce of thought and effort into this film, and it shows. Like, you can definitely tell that Bradley Cooper did his homework when it came to filmmaking, because the amount of passion that he puts into this film, as well as the amount of emotion that he puts into it, the amount of meaning, and every ounce of thought and effort into every lyric of each song that was in this film, that's insane to me. And that's another great thing I love in the film as well, is that every song by Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, there's not a single bad one, and there's not a single pointless one too. They all have a meaning to it. Oh, excuse me. That was my stomach rumbling. But overall, I found A Star Is Born not only to be one of the most emotionally raw and most well-done films of the year, it's one of the few modern pieces of filmmaking that feels as if there's actual passion put into it and effort. Especially since this came from a first-time director. And the amount of thought and effort that he put into this film was unbelievable to me. So because of those factors, A Star Is Born is easily my number one favorite film of the year. So yeah, that was my best of the year list. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we talk about the worst movies of the year. I'm sure you're just as excited as I am to talk about them. So yeah, that is all I have for you today, and stay tuned for my worst movies of 2018 list tomorrow. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.